Hello, creatives. Welcome back to Girl Gang Craft, the podcast. Today we have Jacky from MCLC brand. Hi, Jacky. Welcome to the
Hi, thank
podcast.
you. I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to have you. Jacky and I have been in contact for a little bit. If you see me wear cool shoes on my feed, they are hers. And yeah, Jacky, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, what MCLC brand is?
So it's actually MCLC. I had to add the brand because of Instagram. So apparently I couldn't do a 4-syllable word. And
Okay.
so that was a little bummer. So I had to add the brand.
So without the brand. So it's just
Um,
MCLC.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, great.
No, totally cool. So I own a footwear brand. I design, produce. I like to call myself Jacky of all trades. I do everything. So it's a fun footwear brand. It's unisex. It's something that you're not going to see out in the typical market. You're not going to find it in I mean, hopefully one day like at a Nordstrom or something, but it's just something that's unique and different. It all comes from this little brain in here. I don't know. I feel like it's full of unicorns and rainbows and whatnot. And so shoes make me happy. And I just want to, show everyone and be able to, I guess, share my passion of footwear with the rest of the world.
I love it. So, yeah, why shoes? Started with apparel, is that correct?
Right. So I actually went to fashion school and I got my bachelor's in design. But of course, I'm aging myself right now. But when I graduated, the recession had just hit and it was not good for the industry at all. But I was lucky enough to somehow get back in it, or get into the footwear industry, I should say. I was a social butterfly in LA, and so I met a lot of friends and people that just happened to be in the industry already. So I was always in contact with them, and I was lucky enough to get a position for. I was there for about 7 years designing shoes. And then after I had my second kiddo, I decided I needed to step back a little bit and kind of focus on my family. So I'm like, I'm just gonna, see what I could do with this. And I started doing apparel. I started doing shirts, and I wanted to move on to clothing, but it just wasn't doing it for me. I feel like shoes has always been it's just been so fun for me to just design, and like there's like so many things you can do with shoes, believe it or not. So I went that after the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, I was in a mental space, which was really difficult for myself, and I'm sure a lot of people dealt with that as well. And so I told myself, why am I doing something that I'm not, if I'm not in it 100%, why am I doing this? I come from a footwear background. Like, I'm just going to get into it. And so I started just sketching, designing, and I think putting a little bit of my feelings into it and what I was going through. And so that's how the Balancing Act boot came about. That was my first shoe. Just trying to balance life, trying to balance, just everything that was happening at the moment. And that was my big, I guess, breakthrough was that boot.
Okay, so shoes. So, how on earth did you make your shoes happen? I know you have a little bit of experience or a lot of experience in shoes before. So, how did you take that experience that you had making shoes and do it for yourself? What did that process look like?
Well, it always just starts with an idea, concept, and I am a big Photoshop and Illustrator nerd. So all of my sketches and everything is done on that. Um, and I just sketch. I think I do like 20 things and then just narrow them down to, you know, my top five, and then I just go from there. I reached out to, I researched a lot of production companies because I was really looking for a specific type, just a small, family owned production company that could produce very small batches for me. I wasn't trying to go in there, thousands and thousands of shoes at a time. I wanted to keep it really sustainable and really, with production companies that are smaller, it's easier to communicate with them and let them know what you want and how you want things done. So that was, I was able to find someone, and you sample, you get your samples, and then you produce, and the rest is history, I guess. So
So, what are your shoes made out of?
they're considered a vegan leather. They're not leather; it's a synthetic leather, and I try to keep it as, I guess, sustainable as possible. I did want to make a leather at the beginning, but it just wasn't what I guess I just I love animals, I guess. I don't know. I couldn't do it. I just really couldn't do it. And so they're all vegan leather. I am doing some research right now on some fabric that is made out of I believe it's cactus. It's like a plant-based material. But with those type of materials, there's not tons of colors, I guess you could say. And I'm a very colorful vibe. So it's a matter of researching and keeping yourself up to date on what's new, what's trending, what you know is available. Because as we go, people just are so inventive, and they just come up with like the coolest things to be able to produce shoes and clothing and stuff. So yeah.
So, how did you get your shoes in the hands of customers?
So I Instagram has been a really big thing for me. It's been like a marketing, like, I don't know, just this amazing platform where I've just been able to introduce my footwear. And I've had a lot of great feedback, and I think that really helped. I had people just reach out to me, and when it comes to like influencers and that type of thing, um, they're able to reach out to me, and I'm the person behind the Instagram most of the time, where I'm like, yeah, let's. And they just want the shoes. They're like, they're so cool. Like, I need to have them, and I'm like, take them, please. You're making, I love seeing the way a lot of influencers take my product and just make it their own and make it just look really cool. And it's like a vision, like someone else's vision. And it just makes, I think the footwear just looks so, so cool. So that's how I did direct to consumer. And then I also did a um, magic. I did magic trade show. So I did do a trade show, and that was more for retailers. And I was able to get in a lot of boutiques and unique vintage. I had some at Dolls Kill too. A lot of online and brick and mortar too.
So, was the trade show the only way that you were reaching out to retailers, or do you use any sites like Fair or Bulletin, or are you outreaching to retailers? What does that wholesale process look like for you?
So first I did Magic, and then I was contacted by Fair and Bulletin through Magic. So um, I'm actually on both of those sites as well, and it's been good. It's been good because there I'm able to upload things as I go, and they just kind of pick and choose what they need and ship them, and it's a really good process. But I also like doing the trade shows because you get to meet the retailers. They get to know who the owner is, who the brand is, what the brand is about. It's a lot different than just kind of like doing an online thing. It's nice to meet people and be able to let them know, like, hey, this is what this is about. And then they also love touching the shoe. They want to see it in person. They want to see if it's good for them, their shop, their vibe. So that's always a good thing to do.
Okay, so we have direct to consumer, we
Mhm.
have retail. I guess back to the direct consumer, besides Instagram, are there any other ways that you're promoting your product? What has seemed to really stick for you? I mean, you've scaled so quickly. What do you attribute that to? What's a little bit of the behind the scenes strategy for all our product based businesses who are listening and looking up to you?
I think, oh, thank you. Like, thank you. That's amazing. Well, I feel like I need to do a little bit more research when it comes to doing all that because I've only used, to be honest, I've only used Instagram. TikTok, I am still dabbing. It's a lot of work, and I'm only one person at the moment, so I
You have
just
no
have
one else on your
to.
team at all?
What's that?
You have no one else on your team at all?
I'm a one woman show right
Wow, I
now.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I have my partner to help me sometimes, but it's definitely just me at the moment. I do want to expand. I think maybe next year. It's just I need it. I need it. I think I try to do too much, you know. Um, but yeah, it's. I think once I get all that figured out, I'll be able to, get maybe like TikTok because I know TikTok has. I had someone do like a video, and the shoe just, I just get like just sale after sale after sale of this boot, and I'm thinking like, what is going on? And sure enough, it's TikTok, and it's just like it's so mind blowing
Wait,
how
who was it? Is it who
it was Callie. That's
okay.
who it was. It was Callie, Calliana. She loves my shoes, and she's just like always on top of TikToks. And yeah, she wore, I think it was the long Yinning boot, like the knee high one. Oh my god, it was insane. It was insane. So, but I do need to start finding other platforms. I think I've tried the Google, it's like the Google shop Google or something like that. The Google shop, but I'm not very techie, so I have to find someone to help me figure all that good stuff out for sure.
I love it. And so no email marketing either.
Oh yeah, I do email marketing, but I think it's just more. I feel like for me, for the shoe, I think people just want to see it. So I think platforms that have more of a visual type vibe is gonna work more for me. Yeah.
I love it. So are you shipping yourself out of your house then, or do you have a warehouse, or what does that look
You know
like?
what? I did have a warehouse for a while, but I moved not too long ago, so everything came with me. So my garage is currently my warehouse. Um, so yeah, I do ship out myself. Sometimes if it's too much, I do get, help just because it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming at times. But I'm
Yeah.
I'm looking back into getting a warehouse hopefully by next year.
Awesome. So,
Yeah,
okay, it sounds like you do so much. How
I
how
do.
on earth how on earth do you balance it all? Like how do you balance everything that you do in your business, and being a mother and being a human?
Girl, I ask myself that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's been really difficult. I think I hate to blame it on the pandemic, but it's the pandemic's fault. It's everything, since then everything just changed. I think for a lot of people too. For myself, I have two boys that I homeschool. So homeschooling,
You're a teacher.
running a business. I became a teacher. I didn't know I had it in me, but um, so I had that. I had the business. I don't think I know what sleep is anymore. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But um, I think trying to balance things out is something that I'm still working on. Um, it's hard. It's hard. it's fulfilling. It's amazing when you see things that are, that people love. I think it's so fulfilling. And it's because I'm putting myself out there. It's not something that, I bought and I'm just kind of like, throwing out there. It's something that it takes me months to create. So it's really, it's to get that positive feedback, I think is incredible. Really is. And then on top of that, having my kids see the process, because they're in here running around asking questions. Like my oldest will help me ship sometimes, so it's just it's nice to have them see that their mom, a woman in this industry, is getting out there and making it happen. So hopefully they learn something from it.
So, is there anything that you do for yourself that gives you a little break from your work and your obligations as a homeschooler and mom?
So I'm a big I like reality TV.
Great. Totally great.
Sci-fi and horror are my jam as well. So like at night, I think I just, kind of binge watch stuff. I love music as well. So I'm always doing festivals or doing concerts, or it's just so therapeutic for me. Um, we try to take vacations here and there, but I always feel when you're running a business, you really don't have a day off. Especially when you're on Instagram, you have to post, you have to do this and that. And it just kind of sucks sometimes. Even if you want to take a couple days off with Instagram, you get like dinged. So you got to kind of, start back up, and it's a lot. It's a lot, but I try to meditate and just kind of, even if it's like a 10-minute meditation session, it's just so good. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, tell us a little bit about like your creative process. Like how do you get ideas for your shoes? Um and I don't know, have you ever been stuck, and like how do you find inspiration when you're feeling stuck with your creative process?
So I honestly find inspiration from like anything. Like for example, the balancing act boot just came from somewhere that, like, I guess I was like feeling vulnerable, and just wanted to make something happen that made sense for me. Um, and also respecting, the culture from where the symbol came from, and having like that story of the symbolism of it. Um, but I also, nature and like old movies, and stuff like that is just, I take it from everywhere. I think sometimes like an idea just sparks up, and I'm like, I need to jot it down and then sketch it and then see how it looks, because sometimes I have these ideas and they're a bit too wild, and it's just like, yeah, that's cool, but how is that going to transfer onto a shoe? Like, how is that even going to be a doable thing? Um,
We have to walk in them, maybe.
yeah, well, yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, they have to be wearable. I mean, do they have to be wearable? But I try to put thought into each piece. I really, really do. And so, it's sometimes it's heartbreaking. I'm not going to say who did it, but it's heartbreaking to see sometimes when um, you get people that knock you off, or a bigger company that's like, I'm going to come in and make thousands of shoes and sell it at a lesser price. I'm like, I wish I could do that, but I am, as a sustainable company, I small batches means a higher cost for myself. So it's really hard sometimes to compete with fast fashion, unless you understand that the company is being sustainable, and why certain things are a certain way, and it's this industry's a lot. So
Yeah, what do you do when someone, copies you? Have you taken any legal action or even reached out, or do you just sort of deal with it, and what does that look like?
I try. I've tried to reach out, but again, it's not. Unfortunately, when it comes to footwear, I think there's like a 15% change that they have to make, I guess, to make it, you know, not the same. And I mean, sometimes there's really nothing you can do. Like legally, there's really nothing. So that I just take the high road and say, I guess you liked my stuff. You think it looks great. So here you are, knocking me off. I'll take that as a compliment. Um, but it's what I like to do is like, okay, well, I move on. What's the next best thing? Like it kind of, it's like the fuel to the fire for me. It like sparks something in me, and I just have to like, be one step ahead of them, and that's all I can do, really. Especially for a smaller business, there's really nothing you can do unless, I'm like Nike or something.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems so unfortunate. Like,
It
I'm
really is.
seeing small businesses after small businesses be copied and ripped off, and I mean, the dupes don't look as good, they're not as good quality, all of these
Hmm.
things, there's not, like, a real human behind them. I mean, maybe there's, thousands of real human behind them, whatever.
That's the thing. Yeah.
But it's
No, exactly.
awful. It's so awful, and it's really shitty.
All you could do, honestly, I think I called them out on my IG and my TikTok. If you want to go to my TikTok and check it out. I called them out just, because you need to be called out. You need to be held responsible for your actions, especially if it's a bigger brand that is, European and like whatever. So I just called them out and that's it. I'm like, let me end it here.
Yeah, but how do you deal with that internally too? I mean, it's a little different than trolling, right? Like, how
Yeah.
do you sort of yeah, I mean, how do you move on? It's so challenging to, like, get that out of your brain and, like, to not be frustrated with it anymore. I mean,
It's
yeah.
still, I mean, it's still frustrating. But I try to not like harp on it just because then it's gonna put me on that downward spiral of like, why me? I'd rather move forward and take action on what I can and just, I guess, be the bigger person and just be like, well, I guess I'm doing something right because I got, these people knocking me off. But again, I know I saw the pictures of the shoe and the quality is not, it's not the same. It really is a knockoff. When I say knockoff, it's a knockoff. It's pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, it's you kind of have to just like, you got to move on and see where else you go with it. I mean, it sucks. Hopefully, you don't do it again, but it's not guaranteed. Especially if you have people that really don't. I always tell my partner, I'm like, are they not? They have like a team. Are they not creative enough to design something else? I mean, there's like tons of things out there. Use your imagination. It's not that hard.
Like, hire some good
So
people, like, to design for you.
exactly,
You're
you
not
have the
yeah,
money.
there's
Hire the
yeah,
designers that you need.
it's so weird.
Annoying.
Okay, so let's see. Do you do like seasonal, or what is your sort of cycle for new designs? What does that look like for you?
I'm so bad. I know. I'm like doing this to myself right now because I missed my summer season. But I kind of just do as I go, as I like create, I guess you can say. I need to be more on a strict schedule, and I know like that's my goal this year. mid-year because we're already in June. I need to be more strict on how I'm doing stuff because I feel like I'm still learning in a sense. I'm still learning how to navigate through the footwear industry because it's not as easy as um, I think maybe like even the clothing industry is a little bit easier just because it's shipping is a little bit easier. These are like bulky items. You have to figure out lots of logistics when it comes to that and time frame. It's everything's handmade, so it's not you don't have like a machine like pumping shoes out. Um, and so it takes time. It really does take time. But I do have to be better at um, getting at least a few designs every season. I've been a little bit bad. So right now I'm working on fall
Okay.
this year. So I have a couple things coming in.
Yeah, so how
So
long is that timeline then for you? Like from designing to having them in your hand?
it takes 3 to 4 months. Mm-hmm. 3 to 4 months. And that's not including like delays and all this stuff. I can't even begin to tell you what happened during the pandemic. That was awful. I think I had a two styles that were delayed about four, so it took almost like 8 months for them to get here. Insane. And then I had retailers, where's my order? Like, I'm sorry. Like it's out of my control. They're on a boat somewhere. I just don't know where. They're on the ocean. So that was really difficult. That was really difficult, but we got through it. We're here now. So
And so how do you decide like how much inventory to order? Because I know it's very particular for, you know, direct to consumer, and then you have retailers, and then not to mention you have a bunch of different sizes. So what does that look like? I'm so curious.
it's really, I think I was, like I said, I was blessed enough to be able to work in the industry already where I know what sizes are going to be, you know, are going to sell more.
What are those
Um,
sizes? Like 7 and 8?
no, it's 7, 8, 9,
7,
but
8, 9.
mostly eights. Eights are a
8.
really big, yeah,
So
eights.
interesting.
Eights. And then I do like to add inclusive sizing. So I do have a lot of my boots go up to size 14.
That's awesome.
Um, but I do like to do pre-sale just because if you really love a pair of shoes and you're like, oh my God, I need to have these, it's always good to pre-order them just so that like, hey, once they come in, they're going to be yours. They're going to be in your hand rather than waiting and then they sell out. Because I don't order, like I said, I don't order thousands of pairs of shoes. Um, so sometimes I get shoes in and they're out, so it's like I'm not going to get them in for another 2, 3 months, if that. So it's just a matter of, I guess, understanding my customers and knowing like what shoe is gonna be like, oh my God, this is it. This is gonna be like the cool shoe. So I need to order a lot more than I usually do, or it's like a guessing game. It really is. There's really no there's really no way to put it. Like I just need to kind of like go with my gut instincts and just do it. But as far as sizing, you know, being able to do direct to consumer has been great because like I said, I understand my customer and so I know like, okay, well these sizes are going to sell more than these sizes. So I tend to order more of those rather than the others.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because there
Yeah.
is like a formula, but also there's a guessing game. Like, and sometimes I don't know. I like do a guessing on my inventory, and sometimes I'm really spot on, and sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm off. Like we have these abortion is healthcare like shirts and tank tops,
Uh-huh.
and like the tank tops were an afterthought, sort of. Like I was gonna do the shirts, and then I was like, oh, these tank tops are cute. I'll do few of those, and it's like no, like those tank tops are way outselling the shirts. So it's so funny. I mean, it is sort of like a little bit like of a guessing game. You don't know exactly like how much like one item is going to do over another
Mhm.
necessarily.
Yeah, it's wild. I sometimes I'm like, I think I ordered, I forgot what style it was, but like I'm gonna order more of this color than this color because this color is gonna be amazing, and it's like total opposite. Like,
Yeah.
oh no. But all you can do is like take from it, learn, and either reorder or move on. It's hard. There's really no way to do it. You just kind of have to go with your instinct and just go for it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your pricing? Like, how do you decide what to price your items at?
So right now, because I do wholesale, it's so wholesale would be double, and then retail is triple. Um,
Of your cost. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So it's and then on top of that, with my like I was telling you before, with my shoes, because they're small batches, it's going to cost more for me to make. Rather, like if I had like, oh, let me order 2,000 pair, it's going to be a lot cheaper. But I don't want to go that route. Like I'm really like I'm like I even tell my partner, I'm like, we cannot go that route. Like I need to stay sustainable, just because it's just you know we don't need fast fashion. We really don't. It's just so bad. And myself having kids, I'm thinking about their future, and what we want. We have to make it what it needs to be, starting with us, our generation. So sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
No, it's all important. It's all included. The world is dying. We
I
need
know,
like,
right?
it's part of the conversation.
It's hard. It's really difficult to do that. But yeah, the pricing for the shoes, it's that's the part of the reason why you know they're a little bit higher. And again, we don't have like there's no machine that's like making them and pumping them out. They're literally all handmade. We like the pink boots, the heart boots. Those are hand painted. So sometimes you'll see like the paint come off the bottom and that type of thing. But then it's like, so do Christian Louboutins. So those are made in Italy. So just not that I would compare you the two, but just saying. Just because they are handmade, hand painted, and that type of thing, it's gonna happen. But yeah, I try. I want to do something, and I've made a note of it, where it's just a style that I make that's just for direct to consumer. And then the price, there's not going to be like the wholesale price in the middle. It's literally going to be like what I would sell to a wholesale customer. So maybe I'll start doing like exclusives like that, and kind of, I don't know, I have lots of ideas. I have tons of ideas. I just need to figure out where to start.
For the record, I think your prices are very affordable
Oh, thank
and
you.
like and good. They're a good price, I
I
think.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also told myself I don't my the highest costing boot is the knee high balancing act boot, and that's 200. But I've told myself I'm never going over the 200 price range, and that's like I'll probably stay like 150 and below, just because I want to make it affordable. It's not. What's the point of like it's I don't understand like the super expensive shoes unless it's like a super brand name that you can price those things up. But I think I want people to wear it. I want people to afford it and be able to like rock them and like look cute in them. I just want people to enjoy the shoes. What's the point of making it like super high if people can't afford it? You know what I mean? So
Yeah. What are some ways that you like stay connected with your customers? Like how do you keep them in the know and like how do you keep them sort of knowing that you care about them?
that's a good question. Um, I love all
Because
my
I do feel like that.
customers.
I feel like your brand feels very supportive and like exciting and you're like highlighting influencers and customers all the time.
Mhm.
So I don't know, like you repost my stories all the time every time I mention you. I don't know. It feels like you're seeing us, which I think is really impactful.
Thank you. I know. I really do try. I feel like I need to be more of, I guess, the face sometimes. I need to get in there and, like, I need to do it. I was doing it for a really long time, and then um, I'm like, no, I'm just going to do, just the shoes. But I think it's so important to know the person, the process, every, like, behind the scenes. People want to know, like, who am I supporting, I guess, in a way, I need to get back on that. But yeah, I love my customers, and I love reposting. Like, anybody that takes a picture in the shoes, I'm always going to repost and just share, because I think it's just the coolest thing. It's like, this is my little baby that, like, I created, and like I said, to see customers really appreciate and take the time. It takes time to take a picture, to get the outfit together. So, like, I see you, like, I see you putting that cute little outfit together with the shoes. So it's nice to be able to see that and share it. So, but yeah, I need to get. You're really good about posting. I need to start posting.
I do post a lot.
It's good. No, it's good. It's great. I love to see it.
Um, okay, so like what do you envision next for you? Are you going to go back to apparel, or are you sort of sticking
Oh
in the
God.
footwear realm, or what does that look like? You're hiring several people next year.
This is the plan. This is the plan. I am planning on making it happen. I do. You know what? I've always thought about making clothing. Going back to that, I live near LA. I was born and raised in LA. I moved towards the desert in the middle of the pandemic. But there's a lot of production companies and manufacturers out in LA that do small batch quantities, and um, it's something that has really sparked my interest. Maybe in the future, do something cute that'll go with the shoes, and do like a whole line and a whole season. But I think that's gonna happen in the future. I think for now, I'm trying to just stick to shoes, trying to make it happen with that. I have tons of ideas, and I need to just make it happen. But hopefully, hopefully I'll get to a point where it's, MCLC is not just a footwear company. It'll be like a whole brand of just cute stuff, bright stuff, stuff. I like to make things that aren't out there right now, that are, you can only find them, through me and my brand and stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Wait, what does MCLC stand for?
Like, those are my kids' initials.
Okay, cute.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome.
Yeah. I wanted to make it short and simple, and it just worked out, and they take pride in that too. They're like, Mom runs a business and it's named after me. I'm like, okay.
That's so sweet.
So yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
So okay, as we sort of move into fall and the
Hmm.
holiday season, I mean,
Hmm.
we're not there yet, folks, but maybe as you listen to this episode, maybe we'll be a little closer there. We do want to keep our summer going a bit longer. It hasn't even
Yeah.
started really. Um, what are some ways that you get your shoes out there specifically for the holiday season? Do you have specific strategies catered towards that time period?
Um, Not necessarily. I feel like when I do things for the holiday, I do keep in mind. So, like, it's really hard with the design process for me. It's right now I'm thinking about fall and holiday, and it's so hot outside, so it's so hard because all I want to do is make cute sandals, but it's just like, no, I can't. I gotta stick to the cold weather, So it's I really just have to think forward and see trends that are things that are trending, and kind of just, it's like it really is a guessing game. I do some trend research and try to see, like, what's on the runway and like things that I like personally. Um, I'm a big like like Barbie. I'm a big like Barbie geek. So, it's just like a lot of things to keep in mind to try to just um, design for the future. So, design for fall, winter, and holiday and all that good stuff. So, I don't know. I just try to promote as much as I can via social media. And then I love, like I said, I love when I think it helps when your product is out there and people are just so receptive to it. And sometimes, like, I love get feedback. Like, oh, maybe you should do this, and maybe this color and this. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's try it out. Um, so I really do listen and try to see like how I guess predict what's going to happen in the next season or so with the designs. So it'll be fun. Figure it out.
What advice do you have for other product-based business owners that are just starting out? How can they get their work in front of more customers?
I think it's really important to. I think it's really important to network. I think networking is where what got me to where I am today. Um, Being able to get the when I was working in the footwear industry for 7 years, I got that job basically through networking through a friend. We kept in contact, and then they reached out to me, and it was just like the perfect. It just worked out so perfectly. But even then, when I was working with them, we would go out and do a lot of like just going out wearing the shoes out in LA, networking with other people, and then um, you just meet a lot of people that are really interested in products. And I think it's really important to show face and put yourself out there. Um, like networking is key. Just be a nice. I always tell everyone. I tell my kids this too. Just be a good human being. Like just be a great person and don't ever like talk smack about people. It's just you just be a good person. Just be a good person and network and just try to keep those contacts. And I think it's really important. I think that's like my number one advice for sure. And don't be scared to put yourself out there. If you have an idea that you want to, you have like a design that you've been like dying to share with the world, just share it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? And then if it doesn't work out, you learn from it, you move on, you make something better. So
So, yeah, what else are you excited for? What are you excited for next year?
it's so funny because I wanted to make these really cute sandals this year, and I just like I missed my deadline. That's really what it came down to. And so I'm like, these need to be my spring. So I'm already thinking like spring of next year, like everything I want to do. Um, but I don't know. I'm just really excited. I like where I see a lot of shoe companies just making like really cool stuff nowadays, and it's nice to see. Um, just I love unique stuff. Like I'm so into just like things that pop out, like things that are almost like art pieces, wearable art. Um, so I'm just it's also nice to see that a lot of people have their own businesses nowadays. A lot of creatives are just doing their thing, and I think it's just so amazing because everyone just kind of feeds off each other. Or the collabs that people do, I think that's always fun just to see all the beautiful creativity out there in a way.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see your next year spring shoes
I
then.
know. I'm like, oh, I think I might take like the concept about what I was trying to do and put it in like a boot for fall
Ooh.
because I feel like my customer, even if it's fall, we're not going to wear like darker colors. It's always going to be like a bright fall for us. So, and I will have a dark, I always have like, a darker, like maybe like a brown just for fall season.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, okay, Jacky, this has been so fun. So, where can people find you and your shoes?
So, my direct website is www.shopmclc.com. My IG and TikTok is at MCLC brand. So you can catch me there. I'm always trying to be. I love doing sneak peeks on IG. So just to get feedback and be like, are people into this? Do they love it? Do they hate it? So I'm always doing sneak peeks on there and just kind of I promote a lot on there for now.
Cool. Well, I can't wait to see your fall shoes.
Thank
Thank you so much,
you.
Jacky. This has been
Thank
lovely.
you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.